So, isn't that a stunning foiled car? Beautiful, even as a disguised shape. It's the most, I think, exciting foiled car I've ever seen in my life, representing this new Volkswagen movement, our ID.3. How do you like it? I know you're holding cameras, you can't. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are really sort of excited as a total team today, including our dealers, to really start this new wave of mobility for the Volkswagen brand. And I don't want to go through the highlights once again. But I can promise you that every element of this launch will be treated differently to any launch we've ever had before. And so does the media campaign for this ID.3 car. I move aside a bit. So here you go, easy. Huh? So, dear friends, you might know that Volkswagen is a proud sponsor of the German National Football Association. And this association holds a key event in the capital of Germany, Berlin, in this place, just a few weeks from now. On May 25th, we will hold the cup final in the city, in the Olympia Stadium, which has become the finale for the football season, with whole Germany watching, inviting the world to join and celebrate football as its best, with us being proud sponsors. And the team has used and leveraged this opportunity to electrify Berlin on May 25th. The campaign pre-introducing ID.3 and the ID family and the pre-booking will break on May 25th here in Berlin, and will then actually successively flow through Europe for what we believe a groundbreaking campaign to show that Volkswagen is moving, Volkswagen is changing, and Volkswagen has a long-term idea to change the mobility footprint for all of us. So I'd like to introduce you not only to the ID.3 model car, but I'd like to introduce you to the new campaign ahead of the time on May 25th. Enjoy the new life of the ID family.
This is for all of us. All, as in everyone. The many. The millions. It's time for a power shift. It's time to plug in. It's time for electric cars for the people. Electric mobility from Volkswagen. Cars that speak to you, learn from you, and connect you to the world. Cars that are as alive as you are. Cars that can reach new milestones. For everyone, in every shape and size. By harnessing power for the few, one can make a change. But by harnessing power for the many, we can change the world. ID. Volkswagen. Just electric. Start electric. Search Volkswagen ID.
So, I hope you will enjoy this as much as we do. It's quite an experience for us as a brand to start this new life with our customers, with our dealers, with our team, with our employees in the coming years and months. What you see here is just a pre-step to what you can expect from us in Frankfurt this year on the International Motor Show. Just by the way, if you live in Berlin, this installation will stay here for the next month until end of June, so people can take a look and actually have a look at the pre-bookable ID.3 first edition. Mark?
Thank you, Jürgen, for the quick introduction. We're happy to take your questions now. For that, please stand up because it's a little bit dark and hard to see here from the stage. And then somebody will come with a mic so that everybody can hear your questions. So, first question. Yeah, we have it here.
Hello. My name is Meyer from the EAM magazine. I have two questions, please. Could you give us some information about the warranty conditions according to the battery for the pre-booking persons? And the second question, all the values you announced today, the energy amount, do you mean this is a net or gross value? Thank you.
Okay. let me just start with the end. It's net values, not gross values. Sorry, so what was the first question?
Warranty.
Warranty. Warranty is regulated clearly. It's an 8-year warranty with up to 160,000 kilometers with a minimum guarantee of 70%, which in real practice we've seen we will exceed by far. But we're going to give a minimum as a guarantee. 8 years, 160,000 kilometers.
You gave a lot of details about the battery, about the range, but nothing about the power of the engine. Can you tell us something about this? And will be only one rear engine, or will the top version will have also one more engine in the front? And second, there are some rumors that cobalt resources are not enough for the next years, and it seems that the problem is for the next 2-3 years. And you said that you will produce more than 100,000 in the next year. Do you secure these cobalt resources? And the last question is, the next Golf 8, which will be shown at the end of the year, will be the last Golf? Thank you.
Well, let me get started with the end. Clearly not. Golf is the heart of our company. Will remain heart of the company. So there's no plan to stop with 8. 8 is going to be a brilliant Golf. You will see when we show the car. Let me start with some of the questions. Cobalt, I think a good question. I think you've read that we are committed to securing safe and actually regulated supply for cobalt, because it's not only about having the volume, but having it in the right way. So we are engaged with partners that can secure work ethics and work environments that we want to see as suppliers. We have warranted supply for the coming years. And as the chemistry mix in our batteries will change, we will get less and less dependent on cobalt actually being part of our battery system. So it's a sort of an issue that we feel sort of strong about. We want to actually have secured and actually ethically correct produced cobalt in the beginning. But with time, cobalt will become less important in our battery chemistry. Oh, engine. All of the rest, I know that you have tons of questions on the car, will be revealed in Frankfurt Motor Show. So we will talk about technical details, specification at Frankfurt. Today is just the spiff for starting basically the journey with us. In a few months in Frankfurt, we will tell you all about the details and technology and power ranges.
Good. Next question we have here, and then...
I have 2 questions. So my first question is, you mentioned that you will deliver 100,000 ID.3 in next year. When would it be at earliest? And my second question is, I'd like to know your launch plan outside Europe, especially in US, China, and Japan.
Okay. I think there's just one thing I need to correct. I've said that actually on a running year, we'll be producing 100,000 plus IDs, not in next year, 2020. So the production will be below 100,000 in the year 2020. But we will have a second car going online as a production car in the coming year as well. So there will be a good supply for ID.3 models and the next car coming. Again, all of that gets introduced to you at Frankfurt Motor Show. So we are building capacity. We are ramping up the plant. The plant has a capacity of 300,000 cars, and we are obviously keen to fill capacity as soon as possible with ID.3 and other members of the ID family.
Knüpfer is my name from All Electronics. Other companies are expecting big developments with fuel cells. You are committed to electrical cars. Don't you think that you miss a very important market?
Not at all. We are, I think, very transparent on this technology. We do believe that fuel cell has a role to play for the future, but it won't help in the next decade. We want to make a big step ahead in reducing our CO2 footprint now. We can't wait until fuel cell becomes ready to get deployed and scaled, and the fuel cell energy system is actually ready to get launched. Our mission is to reduce the CO2 footprint of our brand and our industry fast and sustainable, and our way forward is electric mobility. It does not include that one day Volkswagen brand and group will get engaged with fuel cells. It's just not for now. That's why we've gone our route, and this is our mission in the coming years.
Yes. One question more, please. Do you plan to cooperate with other companies with your modular electric powertrain?
It is public since Geneva that we are offering the platform to other companies. We've started to discuss with startup companies, those small and limited production runs, which can't afford the technology if they have to develop that. That actually is the easy part of the job. But we've opened the platform to other volume manufacturers. We have discussions, but they are far from being closed. But yes, Volkswagen is committed to opening the platform system to other manufacturers to reach scale for everybody and everybody's sake as soon as possible.
Thanks. So we have the next question here, and then in the back, I think it's Bill Boston, right? Great.
Hello, Adrian Mitra, my name. One question, how did you manage to solve the problem with the weight? As I see, the batteries are quite big, looking at today's standards, and the weight of the battery is very important. So how did you manage to solve the problem with the weight on this car? Thank you.
Okay, it's a very good question. Again, all details on weight and other factors of the car will be revealed and discussed in Frankfurt. It is a balance. The battery weighs a certain amount of kilograms. You can't change the battery cell per se, which is a big part of vehicle weight. So it's a balanced approach. Offer the right size of the car, offer the right package of the car to have a full family operating car, and then actually basically doing that in a weight balance that actually still makes sense for our owners. But all details on weights, please, I have to set on pause until we resume in Frankfurt. How are you doing?
We have, I think, first...
Oh, no, he has been raising hands for minutes.
Okay. Then please.
Dankeschön. My question is about the dealer network. Is any change in the dealer network? They are selected, or every dealer can sell this ID.3? And the second question is, you mentioned about the simplified sales systems through the digital transformations. How about these ideas?
Okay. I think it's a very straightforward answer. In contrast to many other players in our industry, we are convinced that dealers help. And they're a necessary part for our transformation. And they're one of the key partners to scale our operation going forward. So we've discussed with our dealers our, we call future sales model and future sales system. The European dealers have basically subscribed to a new sales contract with us. And all of the dealers who have subscribed will be able to sell ID. It becomes a franchise within the Volkswagen franchise. New rules overall, not only for the ID, and mainly in the way we operate with each other. The system of Volkswagen in distribution has understood that we need to change the parameter, how do we treat the customer. We can't allow too many process breakpoints between us and the dealers, so we have to integrate as one. And you see this today. The pre-booking is a great example of this new world of Volkswagen in distribution. Pre-booking platform is central, so operated by us and our team. But each pre-booking scheme includes mandatory a dealer of choice. So we're not taking it away from our dealers. We're including our dealers as part of the value stream. This technology will pose questions, and people want to talk to people, not only to platforms. And dealers have a huge role to play of giving trust and comfort to our customers and adopting the ID technology. So we are marching hand in hand with our dealers, but we've well understood that retailing is changing. It has changed in every industry. It will change in ours. And we have to combine forces and think as one to really be sustainable for the future. But we're embarking. Today is basically a start of this new movement as well.
Hi, Mr. Stockman, William Boston from the Wall Street Journal. I have a couple of questions. One, you have a target of, as Volkswagen Group, of 22 million electric vehicles, I think by 2025, correct me if I'm wrong. Today, battery electric and plug-in hybrids make up 2.5% of the European market, and you're talking about up to 100,000 vehicles, to produce 100,000 vehicles or under 100,000 in 2020 and then from 2021. So how are you going to get from a very low base and niche demand to 22 million vehicles? Okay. Or is it just a hobby? Are you going to make them for Volkswagen employees? Second question is about getting the word out. What's your strategy for advertising? Who are you targeting? What's your target group? In the video you showed there, this very millennial focused. Is that who you see as your customer going forward? And where will you advertise? Is there going to be a conventional TV campaign? When does that start? When are we going to see the ads? Or is this going to be largely social media based? And the last question, I wanted to re-ask the question that a colleague asked before about availability outside of Europe. When does it get started in China, especially, and how important is China in your strategy, your marketing strategy?
A lot of questions.
Yeah. So
let me start with a simple one. Who is target group for our campaign? And the campaign that I showed to you starts to break on May 25th. Many of you should have received in their Facebook accounts conversation and targeted conversation on ID in the past weeks. So the initial target group that we have is early adopters. The innovators are already out there driving e-cars. We are actually targeting now in the early phase this early adopter group, people who are knowledgeable, people who are willing to move, and they need comfort level to say, is this brand trustable? What's the plan? What's the core idea? So that's the core target group, let's say, for the first year or year and a half for our communication. But that does not exclude that we go broadcast, mass, because this is about positioning Volkswagen into a new era and a new scheme. So the campaign behind me will be aired on TV to a much bigger audience than just the targeted sort of initial buyers group that we have. Looking at the relevance of the cars, how do we get there? It's what I've done and explained to you today. We are offering stunningly sexy cars that are easy to operate, affordable to own, cars that have long range, and we are working on the environment of the cars with the charging infrastructure, charging supply to make ownership of a car as simple as possible going forward. That's going to be breaking all of the barriers down as much as we can, but we see now actually a huge leverage in the market with other suppliers that will help us to break down these barriers for electric mobility. We're changing our platform with our dealers. All of our dealers are out there investing into electric mobility now, of getting ready for this move. And the seriousness of this move shows that a large part of our investment is going electric. We're not playing. We haven't said that, yes, we will do all technologies and keep open to everything. That's not the case with Volkswagen. We go electric. And if Volkswagen goes something, we will move things. It's as simple as that. We are a major player in this industry. If we move, a lot of people will follow us. We see this already in the first weeks. So it will be about great products, great ownership experience, I think affordable prices, and again, sort of real life that goes electric and excites and ignites with people. Without great cars, you won't have success, and we will have them quite very, very clearly. Now, on numbers, that's important. I know there have been many numbers put out there. To be clear on the next step, in the next year, we will be sort of aiming at a total number of electric cars clearly beyond 100,000, and that's including plug-in hybrids and electric cars, which is e-up, e-Golf in the first half, and then ID at SECAF in Europe. That's the European number. That's the number that we have to understand. At the same time, we are launching electric cars, battery electric cars in China, and there will be another big chunk of cars going to the Chinese market for the Chinese supply. And very soon after our production start of the ID in Europe, we will see the first production start of Chinese IDs going into the plant in Chinese plants. All of the cars are localized. So China will be rapidly outpacing Europe at any pace that you can imagine. So the Chinese battery electric demand for cars will exceed the European one clearly. And then actually as a third step, we go to the United States and actually open our first facility with our ID family in the United States. More about that then from Scott Keogh and his team when we get closer to actually revealing that. But ID will be a global phenomenon, a global family of cars. And the number that we've always put out is Volkswagen brand on the year 2025, at least 1 million cars sold. That's the aim. Probably and likely more than that, but that's the minimum number of pure electric cars sold under the logo of ID by 2025. So these are the numbers. I know they can be irritating.
Thanks. So I saw a few more hands up there in the back.